Have you ever wondered how a camera works? How this small device captures the world around us and saves it in a digital or film format? Well, the art of photography begins with a basic principle, a concept that's common to all cameras, be it a fancy DSLR, a compact point-and-shoot, or even the camera on your smartphone. They all work on the same fundamental idea, capturing light to create images. So to understand this fascinating process, we're going to delve into the inner workings of a camera. The magic of photography begins with light, the most essential element in the process. Imagine light as a group of energetic dancers, moving in all directions. Now, the lens, a critical component of the camera, acts like the dance instructor, directing these light rays and focusing them towards a specific point. This point, my friends, is the image sensor, the stage where our light dancers perform. The image sensor eagerly awaits the arrival of these light photons, ready to capture their dynamic dance. But there's a gatekeeper to this stage, the shutter. The shutter determines when and for how long the light reaches the image sensor. Now imagine the shutter as a curtain on a stage. When you press the camera's shutter button, this curtain lifts, allowing our light dancers to reach the image sensor. The duration for which this curtain stays open is known as the shutter speed. The longer the curtain stays open, the more light gets to the sensor, and the brighter your photo becomes. After the light dancers have performed on the image sensor stage, the sensor takes in all their movements, their energy, their directions, and creates a pattern. This pattern is what we perceive as an image. So in essence, a camera captures light patterns and converts them into a photograph. It's a beautiful dance of light, timing, and technology, don't you think? Now, let's talk about two crucial components that control how much light enters the camera: aperture and shutter speed. Imagine the aperture as the eye of your camera. It's the opening in the lens through which light travels. A larger aperture, often denoted by a smaller f number, allows more light to enter, making your image brighter. Conversely, a smaller aperture, indicated by a larger f number, lets in less light, resulting in a darker image. But the aperture is not just about light, it also affects the depth of field. A larger aperture will give you a shallow depth of field, meaning your subject will be in focus while the background is blurred. A smaller aperture, on the other hand, brings more of the scene into focus. Moving on to shutter speed. This is the amount of time your camera's shutter is open, allowing light to hit the sensor. A faster shutter speed, measured in fractions of a second, lets in less light and freezes motion. Perfect for capturing fast-moving subjects without blur. A slower shutter speed, on the other hand, allows more light and can create beautiful motion blur or light trails in your images. Both aperture and shutter speed play pivotal roles in the overall exposure of your photograph. They are like dancers in a ballet, moving in harmony to create the perfect balance of light and shadow, focus and blur. Remember, mastering the balance of aperture and shutter speed is key to capturing that perfect shot. Once the light has been captured, what happens next? How does it become a digital file? Let's delve into that. The magic happens at the image sensor, a component coated with millions of tiny light-sensitive points known as pixels. These pixels are like dutiful artists, each one capturing a tiny portion of the scene in front of it. Now, when light hits these pixels, it creates an electric charge. The stronger the light, the stronger the charge. Each pixel then translates this charge into an electronic signal, with varying intensity representing different shades of color. But we're not quite done yet. These signals, like raw clay, need to be shaped and refined. This is where the camera's processor steps in, turning these signals into a coherent, detailed digital image file. The processor's role is like a maestro, orchestrating the symphony of electronic signals into a harmonious visual composition. And that, in a nutshell, is how your camera takes real-world scenes and transforms them into digital memories. So, let's quickly recap the fascinating journey from light to a digital photograph. We've delved into the path of light, traveling from the subject through the lens and onto the sensor. We've explored the critical roles of aperture and shutter speed in controlling the light's intensity and duration. Finally, we've learned how this light data is converted into a digital file, creating the stunning images we see. And with that, we've demystified the workings of a camera. So the next time you're out taking photos, you'll have a deeper appreciation for this marvel of technology.